The Monday Morning Marketing Podcast is brought to you by Esther of IPA Group, bringing premier online promotion to your business.
And Melanie of Stomp Social Media Training, who empowers business owners to manage social media and marketing for themselves. And we're back with another episode of the Monday Morning Marketing Podcast. Today we're talking about Twitter Circle. What is it? Who has it? And why would you want it?
So, Twitter Circles is a relatively new tool at the time of recording. Obviously, you could be hearing this a year from now, and then, of course, it's nearly a year. But
yeah, and probably everybody has it by that point.
Well, I would have thought
or they've taken it away.
But we are some of the chosen special few who have got them at the beginning. But bizarrely, it seems to be only on our private accounts rather than our commercial accounts, where we've got virtually no followers.
Yeah, that's what I've noticed. Now, I do, on some of the accounts that I run, I do have it, but again, they have very low numbers. We're talking up to 1,000 people that follow them. So whether that has something to do with the testing and the rollout, because you are only allowed 150 people in your circle. So if you were to have, let's go for 50,000, 500,000 followers on Twitter, how could you only choose 150 of them? You know, and it has to be people that you are following that you can add to your Twitter circle.
I think they picked me because I could pick everyone and I still would have space left.
On your personal one?
On my personal one.
Yeah. Because, well, same with me on my personal one. Like, I have far fewer people on it, and I only use it for, complaining to companies and that sort of stuff.
No, I use it to geek out on different stuff. I'm a bit of a nerd, and I like Star Trek and science fiction stuff, and so I'd rather not do that as my business. So,
well, that's a valid reason. But there are a couple, like I was saying, a couple of the accounts that I run that are set up as professional accounts that do have it. And I could see the value of it for a couple of them, because one of them that I help run is USA Biz Party, which is a Twitter chat. So I do see the benefit of Twitter Circle for it, because you can only tweet to a limited number. So say we wanted to announce to just the people who have interacted recently with USA Biz Party a certain thing, then we would add those to the circle.
Yeah, but who'd fiddle about with doing that recently? Because you'd have to go and change those every week, wouldn't you?
Oh no, because we have regulars.
Okay.
Let's go with the regulars. USA Biz Party regulars. So those that regularly show up on the chat would get tweeted to. But Melanie and I were testing this before coming online, before coming on live. And it's a bit limited. Because unless you look at your feed, unless you refresh your feed and avoid refreshing for like 150,000 new tweets, you won't see it, because you don't get a notification to say that so-and-so has tweeted to their Twitter circle. You only get, at the bottom of the tweet, you'll see Melanie Boylan has tweeted to her circle, limited number of people will see this tweet, or something like that. But you won't actually know that somebody has tweeted to the circle unless you are almost online constantly.
Well, I think in fairness, some of the people that listen to us are online constantly.
Yes, they are. But I do think at the minute it's very limited. It's not like Twitter communities. So Twitter communities, for those who maybe don't have it either, is a dedicated place to connect and share, get closer in discussion. So it's almost like a second news feed for a Twitter community.
Well, it is actually a second news feed.
Yes, sorry.
It's not like one.
It is.
It is one.
It definitely is one, right? And there is a little button when you're using your mobile or your cell phone at the bottom to take you to the community. And you'll see any new posts and any new tweets there. If you're on desktop, I think it's over on the left-hand side. But the same doesn't happen with a circle. A circle is just a tweet to less people, but they don't get notified that you've tweeted.
The other thing is it, by the looks of it, is unlike on Facebook, where you can actually name and pick different groups of people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I know you can't do that on Instagram, but you definitely can on Facebook. Once you've picked that group, unless you go in and physically change that group, you will always have to go to the same group each time. So
Yeah.
I think in some ways for Instagram and for Twitter, it's actually still quite limiting again, because you don't always
Mm-hmm.
want to converse with the same sized group about the same thing all the time. And in some ways, don't we go on social media because of the first word?
Yeah. Well, we should. I mean, we should be social
Yeah.
when we're on social media. And that's, I could see, like I say, for Twitter communities, Twitter chats, I could see the benefit in a way, but you wouldn't want to be running the chat in the circle and only them seeing it. Because you want to grow the circle. You want to grow the chat.
Yeah.
So would you, like, as a personal account, why would we use Twitter Circle? As a business account of Stomp and IPA Group, what would we use a Twitter Circle for?
Cronies?
Promotions?
I was going to go with cronies, but okay.
It's one of those strange things that somebody invented up and went, well, let's try this now. And it might turn around and work well.
I think this will last as long as Twitter stories did.
Possibly. And I think, I mean, a lot of times, like, we love Twitter. We do. And a lot of times, but a lot of times Twitter comes too late to the party. Twitter stories happened way after Facebook stories, Instagram stories, every other story, and then they removed it. When I quite like stories. I'm sure they'll go on to Reels and follow everybody else onto Reels soon as well. The Twitter circle and the Twitter community is like Facebook groups and Facebook, being able to post stuff to a smaller group of people on Facebook in your main feed. But it's coming years and years after it, and it's still not up to the standard that we're now used to.
I know we're dissing Twitter here, but they are doing an amazing job with Twitter Spaces.
Oh yes. Oh no, yes, I do.
And they're now doing the paid for options like Twitter Blue, which I haven't come across yet.
I have.
I haven't personally yet, but there's Twitter Shop, which we haven't got over here yet. In Europe, but it's available in the US. There's so many different innovations that they're coming up with. I sometimes wonder if they're perhaps doing too many of these innovation chats
and not focusing on one and getting it perfect. Yeah, could be, because, well, in the case of Twitter Blue, I mean, everybody's asking for an edit button on Twitter.
Yeah.
Because we do typos. I mean, that's just normal. But Twitter Blue gives you about 5 seconds before the tweet actually. So when you press the button to tweet, there's a little circle that goes round, and you can either press to undo and fix whatever typo you made, or you can skip the circle and tweet immediately. So for me, who likes to tweet really quickly, it's really annoying, because you're like, oh, I have to now press another button or wait the 5 seconds. But for those who do have more typos and stuff, then it's a good way of getting around that
actually being quite a
button.
problem for people who are live tweeting events and they've got a Twitter Blue account.
Yeah, it is an extra button that you have to press. Yeah. Maybe they would disconnect it for that, because it is a paid option.
True.
So,
can you imagine Ben using that option? Seriously.
Ben, no. But Ben never has any typos. So
no, that is true.
This is Ben Moore we're talking about. If you go back to one of our previous episodes, many moons ago at this point, Ben was talking about Twitter chats. But yeah, I mean, yes, we love Twitter. Twitter is coming up with lots of great things. Sometimes they're a little late to the party. Sometimes they just throw things out to a limited number of people, and it'll possibly never surface with the rest of the world. But as Melanie said, we have it. We are the limited few. We are blessed. And we're testing it out for you. So when it comes out for everybody, if it gets rolled out for everybody, then you'll know a little bit more about it.
Okay, guys. Well, we've pretty much rated and bashed Twitter up, down, left, right, and centre. But we would love to hear your feedback on what you think of Twitter Circle. And maybe we might even get one of you back onto the podcast to give us your feedback. There's a thought.
There is a thought. Thanks for joining us today, guys. We'll be back next week with more Monday Morning Marketing. Until then, bye-bye.
Yeah, sorry about springing that on you. I probably should have mentioned that before we started recording.
Which bit?
Inviting somebody onto the podcast.
Oh, I'm all for inviting people onto the podcast. The more, the merrier.
Do you think somebody will? It'd be so cool if they were listening to this and going, actually, yes, I'm going to give my feedback.
They might. We'll just have to wait and see.